From each happily ever after, every wish upon a star. Let's break down the movies that shaped who we are. From memory lane to now and everything in between. The most famous of films to the ones we've never seen. Decade by decade, all the times we laughed and cried. And with a little pixie dust, they will all take flight. Reliving the feelings, and we're trying our very best. And if they mean the same to you, please be our guest. So hop aboard, we would love to have you as we hang with a certain mouth, the whole gang too. If you love nostalgia stuff, we hope this does the trick. Thanks for joining us as we deep dive the magic.
Hi, and welcome back to the Deep Diving the Magic podcast. I'm KJ.
And I'm Jeffrey. And we have done it. We have made it to a new decade. We made it all the way to the 1960s. We completed the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and we've entered the 60s. And the film to start the 60s is Disney feature film number 44 from January 21st, 1960. It is called Toby Tyler or 10 Weeks with a Circus. Now, I don't know if that's the entire name of the film, because I've seen it different ways. I don't know if maybe some places it's called Toby Tyler, or in some places it's called 10 Weeks with a Circus. I'm not sure, but we're going to call it Toby Tyler or 10 Weeks with a Circus. Before I give any of my facts, do you have any opening facts or a synopsis or some thoughts and stuff?
Yes. Taken in by distant members of his family after being orphaned, Toby Tyler runs away to join the circus.
I mean, it's in the name.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same kid from the previous few films,
Mm-hmm.
who plays Toby, and it is based on the 1880 children's book by Otis Kaler of the same name.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else you got for your opening thoughts before we dive right in?
It takes place in the 19th century. The setting of it, like when it opened up, reminded me of So Dear to My Heart.
Mm-hmm. I can see that for sure.
Mm.
So you ready to dive right in? We got face blessing over here too.
Yeah.
All right.
Ready to dive right in as well.
So we made it to the 60s. Let's dive in. So we start off. We see a young, sharp-dressed boy. He's looking at a circus poster on the back of a barn, and it says that it's coming to Guilford July 2nd. That's what the poster says.
Yeah.
We also at the same time we hear an older gentleman yelling for Toby, and then that boy runs and hides. So we assume that boy's name is Toby, which we know it is Toby.
Mm-hmm.
Then the opening credits start, and we hear and we see the opening credits while the circus is coming to town. There's like a grand fashion parade of the circus coming down the main street of the town.
Yep.
Everybody's excited. Toby squeezes his way through the crowd to watch. He's watching in awe. He is all about this. There's everything you expect from everything that you expect from the circus. There's the animals, there's the performers, they're all coming down there's the big cars, they're all coming down. What I thought was funny is there's a clown that's like getting all the people out of the way. He's like, watch out, make way for the elephants. The elephants are coming through. And then like these tiny little elephants walked down Main Street.
They were dogs dressed up like elephants.
Yeah, which was really funny.
Pretty cute though.
So Toby climbs up a light pole to get a better view, and he's all smiles. He loves the animals. He laughs at the clowns.
Mm-hmm.
And then he runs down. He goes down the light pole, and he runs after. Like he follows the parade route with the parade, following the pipe organ, listening to it play music.
Mm-hmm.
And then as the film starts, it does have like a synopsis on the screen, I guess we'll say, and it says, once upon a time, when the day the circus came to town, it was the biggest day of the year. Mm-hmm. Which sets the entire premise of the film. So then we cut to the circus. People are piling into this circus tent. But then we see Toby, and Toby is counting his money. He is counting his money to see what he can get. But then he goes up to a gentleman and he wants to see how much he can get for a penny because that's all he has. The guy gives him 6 peanuts because he's a handsome boy. That's what it says. Um, and then the vendor asks if he's going to the circus, and he says that he can't go to the circus because he lacks the price of a ticket and doesn't have any parents to bring him in, which is something that you said. Um, the guy asks him then if he's ever thought about joining the circus as a concessionaire. Anything to think about anything on this before I keep going?
I just wonder how many people
Just up and join the circus.
want, yeah, but think to themselves, I'm gonna join it as a concessionaire.
Yeah, concessionaire.
I mean, as a kid, my family went to the circus every year, and I wanted to join because I enjoyed the clowns, but I also wanted to do the trapeze. I thought that was really cool, and I wanted to fly.
But mostly you want him to be a concessionaire.
Yeah.
So if he did join, he would get paid to see the circus show whenever he wanted.
Hmm.
But Toby says that he would like that more than anything in the world, but his aunt and uncle need him on the farm, which explains who the person was that was screaming for him earlier was the uncle.
Hmm.
The gentleman who introduces himself as Harry Tupper gives Toby a free pass to that evening's performance.
Hmm.
Um, they definitely paint him as a great person and give
Yeah.
him a ticket to that performance. So then Toby runs back to the farm to show everybody how excited he is to have a ticket to the circus, but his uncle is very, very unhappy with him.
Hmm.
His family is very angry that he is ungrateful for not doing his chores and no one else will have him and he is nothing to them. That's really,
Yes.
really rude.
I thought to myself, worst uncle
Yeah. It
ever.
definitely like sets the
And
tone.
definitely the aunt too, because she didn't really like do a good job of like stepping in.
But like
But it
literally,
doesn't ever really tell who his parents were related
mm,
to. Were they related to the uncle or
no,
the aunt? I didn't
no.
think so.
But like it in this first couple scenes, it literally sets the stage that
I would have ran away too.
we know Toby. We know that his uncle and aunt are not the best, and then Mr. Tupper seems to be like the hero so far.
Yeah. I mean, the aunt's really not
Well, she's just a little
at
bit
really a
better.
fault, but
Yeah,
she didn't really like step in. She did scold the uncle for talking to him that way.
yeah.
But I mean, I literally had it in my notes that I can't blame him for running away because
Mm.
if I was him in that
Well,
situation, I had no parents, and this is how the people are going to treat me. I'm gonna run away too.
so as you said, a very upset Toby runs back to talk to Mr. Tupper, and he tells him that his aunt and uncle don't want him anymore, so he is ready to join the circus.
Hmm.
Um, so then Mr. Tupper says that he's going to hire him for 50 cents a week, but then Toby's like, "No, you told me $1 earlier," so they're going to hire him for $1 a week.
Hmm.
This movie was filmed or based in 1880, so that's $27.56 today a week.
Hmm.
It's high money. Um, he also Toby says that he didn't get to eat dinner, obviously, because he wasn't home with his family.
He was told he
So
couldn't have dinner.
that's right. So Mr. Tupper gives him a banana because Toby hasn't eaten.
Yeah.
But then as the circus is packing up, he goes to attempt to eat the banana, but then we see a chimp that steals it from him and eats it. But then Toby gets in trouble for instigating the animals, and Mr. Tupper sticks up for him.
Hmm.
So but then because of the chimp, Toby does say that he's changed his mind. He doesn't want to go anymore, but Tupper talks him out of it. He gives him some peppermint joys, and he lets him sit like on the top of the carriage type thing that was like holding the animals.
Hmm.
He gets to sit up top with
I
like the
thought
actual people, the circus.
I thought that the chimp stealing the banana was cute.
Yeah, it sets a good
Yeah.
like hijinks. So now he's sitting on top of like as the parade goes to the next town,
Mm.
he is sitting on the air view, we'll call it, um, with another of the circus men. But then the guy that he's up there with ends up being like kind of like a mean. He's like mean to him, and he tells Toby just to jump off, because no one would miss him. But then the guy ends up warming up to Toby. I'm sorry, Toby, and they end up like humming and singing songs as they travel to the next town together. It's like a big like burly guy,
Yeah.
who ends up warming up to him. Um, and then the next morning we see that Toby's sleeping, but we see like the monkeys again are throwing things at him. Um, and then the mean circus guy, whose name I didn't write down right now, ends up like throwing another guy into a bucket of water for giving Toby a hard time. So clearly, again, he's come around on him. He's sticking up for him.
Mhm.
Mr. Tupper runs over. So Toby's like cleaning himself up like he's one of the seven dwarfs. But Mr. Tupper comes running over looking for Toby and tells him to hurry up because he's not getting paid to clean up himself. Like he's not cleaning up on Mr. Tupper's time.
Mhm.
And then I wrote that Mr. Tupper appears to not be as good of a guy as he was in the beginning, which we'll keep going to. Because
Yeah.
remember, in the beginning of the film, the aunt and uncle were not the good people, and Mr. Tupper was the good person.
Mhm.
So the tough circus guy comes to stick up for Toby and tells Mr. Tupper to not mistreat him and ends up throwing Tupper into the brook. But then he tells Toby to like, do your work, be respectful. You're
Yeah.
part of the crew now. But then we go to the food hall for breakfast. And in the food hall, we meet a young girl who asks Toby to come sit with them because she knows that he's new. But then we also meet like a young boy, and the boy says that it's a performers only table, so he can't sit with them, which causes the girl to get upset.
Yeah. The boy is a jerk.
Yeah, well, he's a performer, so
Well, he gets what's
he's
coming to him,
yeah,
so I
he's
won't.
VIP. Um, but then Toby's upset that he can't sit with anybody, so then this gentleman comes up to cover for him, says that he's been looking for him to come meet with his family, and then he makes up a story, but then he introduces himself as Sam the Clown, and then they go to like his like own little like tent, and he eats with a family, which is like a bunch of dogs.
Yeah.
Anything they want to say on that? The dogs all come running out of like their baskets to come eat the breakfast at the
Yeah,
table.
they're very well trained,
Yeah,
and I feel like
well, they're horses though. I'm sorry, elephants though.
elephants. Yeah, I feel like that's just like another example of how we as a society will sometimes feel like our pets are our family
Yeah.
because they are part of our families. Um, so I thought that was cute that he was just like, yeah, you're gonna come meet with me and my family, and then I think he actually even told Toby, he's like, not what you were expecting,
Nope.
huh?
So Toby does tell Sam that he doesn't have a family, and that's why he ran away to the circus.
Yeah,
So Sam gives him like a little purse and
because he's trying to save money.
tells him to save all of his money.
Yeah.
But then it cuts to the next scene where we see Toby. He's for the next performance, he's selling peanuts, popcorn, candy apples, which is the return of the Disney apple. Um, and during the circus performance, we see a trapeze display, which is amazing. We see the clowns, and then we also see that Toby is doing much more watching than he's doing selling. He is
Yeah.
definitely more into watching the show than he is to doing his job. Um, the two performer kids from the food hall earlier are riding on the back of horses, and by this point, Toby is just sitting down and watching. He's not even working, which causes Mr. Tupper to catch him for not doing his job.
Yeah.
Tupper is upset with Toby for not working, as well as Toby took a lead slug as opposed to actual money for
I'd
some.
never heard of that
Yeah,
before.
so he took some fake money, basically a fake coin, and tells Toby that because of that, Mr. Tupper will be taking his tips because that's old circus nature, which is messed up because again, we're slowly learning more about Mr. Tupper than we thought we knew. So they give Toby some candy apples to like put away after the show, and we see our monkey chimp friend from earlier who steals the apple, and knocks over the whole box of food to the ground. So then Toby says that he hopes the monkey gets so sick that he turns green, and then in a flip to the next scene, it cuts to the monkey being very sick. Sam the clown is giving him medicine.
Castor oil.
Yeah, the animals clearly don't enjoy this medicine.
Because he's like, hold him down.
Yeah. And then the monkey, who we learn is named Mr. Stubbs, and Toby end up becoming good friends.
Toby named him Mr. Stubbs.
Yep, Mr. Stubbs. They end up becoming good friends, and Toby decides that because of all the stuff that the monkey has gone through, he's gonna sit on top of the carriage with him on the next ride.
I think he feels bad because he wished him to get sick, and then he did get sick.
So kind of like you are.
He's like, I just want to keep an eye on him.
Kind of like you are holding Winston right now.
Yeah, because he keeps messing with everything.
Yeah. So they have Mr. Stubbs up on top of the cage.
Mr. Stubbs.
And then we learn that the next day is the 4th of July, which of course, because it's 4th of July, I guess. The people that are like excited for the circus parade coming to town, they're lighting off fireworks, which causes the animals and the horses to be scared on the parade, causing the horses to take off and Toby to have to jump off the top, which causes him to get hurt, and which causes his circus friend to get involved and get in trouble. But the chimp ends up like running away, and the mean circus guy, who is now his friend, ends up getting in trouble because he let the chimp ride on top of the cage. But now the chimp is also loose, so they like threaten to fire the guy.
Oh, they actually fired him.
Yeah, they fired the guy. So then Toby's like, all right, I'm gonna go after Mr. Stubbs, and they see him like in like the police office, like an old like Western film type police office, and he has like a gun, and he's like shooting the gun at the people in the prison, in a very cute but funny, like kind of like Three Stooges type scene. There's a gun battle between the sheriff and Mr. Stubbs, causing Toby to come to his rescue, and Toby convinces Stubbs to not shoot him, and then not shoot himself. Anything that you have to say on that?
I mean, it obviously looked like he was gonna shoot someone, so it was a good thing that he didn't. And I thought it was interesting how the sheriff kind of watched the kid take over and get the monkey.
Yeah. And when all this kind of finishes, we see that the tough circus friend guy, who we now learn his name is Ben, so we'll call him Ben from now on.
Yeah.
He thinks that he's got fired, which we say he did, so he's leaving the circus. He's done. His bags are packed. He's cleaned up. He's done. He's out. But the leader of the circus stops him and says that the monkey's escape ended up causing a huge sellout sales from all the excitement, and it was like their most lucrative, profitable performance.
Yeah.
So Ben isn't really fired, much to his shock.
Yeah. Probably had he not broke into the sheriff's department, it probably would have been completely different, but
so the leader then tells Toby to ride up on top again tonight with Mr. Stubbs, because there's word that has gone to the new town that the new town wants to see that happen as well. So then Tupper says that all of this commotion and everything and all of his new found fame better not affect Toby's work. And then he tries to pay him his weekly salary with a slug. So clearly,
and Toby has no idea.
Yeah, Mr. Tupper is a jerk.
Yeah, Toby has no idea. He's like, hey, you gave me a slug.
Yeah.
like the guy just did it on an accident. He's like, oh.
Awful. So then Toby gets his first pay, and he's all excited, and he says that his aunt and uncle are going to be so excited when he brings all his money home, which shows that his actual plans of earning money for the family as opposed to running away.
Yeah. His terrible family's gonna love him once he can pay them money.
He has a good heart. Toby goes to then the next day. He's beginning his work duties for the day, but we see the girl performer who's practicing on horseback. and the boy performer comes in. He's a pompous jerk, like you said earlier. The boy tries showing off on the horse while practicing without the support belt thing. I don't know
The
what
harness.
the harness. That's a good word for it. So he's trying to show off without the harness, causing him to fall and get hurt because clearly he hasn't seen a Disney horse film before because that's what always happens.
He's a jerk.
He is a jerk. So he ends up getting hurt. But around this time, Toby was kind of talking himself up to this girl, talking about all the things that he could do and all the horses that he has and all his horse skills.
Yeah.
So the girl performer tells the leader to have Toby try to take the boy's place because he had lied to her about his horse skills. So Toby is now going to become a horse performer. And when Toby asks about what about Mr. Tupper, the leader says that he'll take care of Tupper. Tupper is upset because now he's going to lose out on stealing Toby's tips. But he does con his way into making the leader pay a finding fee, which was $20, which is $618 today. So he does
This
con his way into this.
This guy.
Yeah, lovely person, right? So then Toby admits to Ben that he actually can't ride the horse. And that
And Ben's not surprised at
yeah,
all.
no. So then Toby's like he says that he's thinking about leaving the circus because he can't do this. He's gonna leave, but one day he'll be back to buy Mr. Stubbs because that's his buddy.
Yeah.
But then we're on top of the parade train, and Toby goes to sleep. But while he's sleeping, our dear friend Mr. Stubbs, the chimp, steals all his money and throws all the coins over the edge. Because some great friend he is. Because he's a monkey. So then in the morning, Toby is very angry.
Like he knew the guy was gonna leave him.
That's a good point. But next morning, Toby is angry and shocked that his money is gone, and he starts screaming at the chimp. And the guy says that's what you get for making a friend out of a monkey. And but then Ben offers to give Toby all of his money. Ben's like, "Here's all of my money," but Toby won't take it. So he decides that he's going to stay in the circus. He's going to learn how to ride, and he's going to earn his money back. And he gives Stubbs a hug because he forgives him. We then see that Toby is struggling to practice on the horse. It's not going very well. At least he's wearing the harness because he's smart. But then we see that then we see that the mail comes, like the mail call comes. So clearly Toby's parents or aunt and uncle know that he joined the circus because the mail is coming. But then we see that Tupper claims and steals Toby's mail, and he reads it from his aunt and uncle.
Well, I thought that they probably realized that he was in the circus because of the fiasco with the sheriff department.
That makes sense.
Because it made the paper.
That makes sense.
So I assume that's how the parent or the not parents, the aunt and uncle would have realized he was with the circus was because of that.
That makes sense.
Publication.
So so Mr. Tupper, the jerk that he is, decides that he's going to steal and read the letter from the aunt and uncle, and the letter says that the uncle is not doing well, and they need him to return back to the farm. But Tupper decides that he's going to refuse to tell him this because Tupper doesn't want to lose his finding fee because he's a jerk.
Yeah.
But then in the next scene, conveniently, we see that Toby is also trying to write a letter to his family to let them know that he loves them, which is sad. To asking how to spell words and stuff. But he's just so he's trying to write a letter back, but he has no idea that really they were writing letters to him. So next scene, Toby is dressed as a horse performer, but he thinks that he looks awful, and his clown friends agree, so they give him like a new and better outfit, and they give him a better outfit. So then it's time for his first performance. So the girl performer kisses him on the cheek for good luck. So then he's all stressed out because he can't find his shoes. And he takes off right when he should be on stage, and at the exact same time, Mr. Stubbs lets himself loose of his like harness rope, and Mr. Stubbs is like running around the tent, and he finds the stolen letters in Tupper's jacket. He's like going through Mr. Tupper's jacket, which causes Toby to find the letters and realize that his family did write to him, but he has no time to read them because he has to go perform.
Yeah, I questioned the entire time the way Toby kept tying him up, the champ, Mr.
Yeah, it's
Stubbs.
like he was in a noose.
How this champ could not undo himself. And then he undoes himself. I'm like, oh, why didn't you do that the whole time?
But luckily, him letting himself go allowed him to find the
The
letters.
yeah.
So, um,
Such a troublemaker he is.
yeah. So, come showtime, much to people's shock, Toby does fantastic on his horse performance. He's standing on the horse. He's nailing his parts, and he's bowing to the audience. Loud ovation. Toby gets a bunch of praise from everyone, but then instantly he doesn't care about the praise because he runs backstage to read these letters.
Yeah.
And he finds out that they did right, and that the uncle is not well, and they want him to come home. So he decides that he's going to leave before anyone can stop him. He is like
This is when I decided that Toby was a much better person than I was, because I would have been like, well, not going back.
So he's going to go back before
He's
anybody
such a
can
good
stop
kid.
him. Yeah.
Well, aside from running away, I guess, but I mean, I don't blame him for running away.
So Toby writes a letter to leave behind, and then he tells Mr. Stubbs that he'll be back for him someday. And then, but then Tupper finds the letter that Toby wrote and realizes that the letters have been read. But at the exact same time, again, Mr. Stubbs lets himself out of the harness and runs after Toby.
Yeah, he knew he was going to leave him.
He wants to steal more of his money.
He don't want to steal his
No, I'm
money.
just
He
kidding.
loves him.
Yep, he does. So then
He probably thinks he shared that banana with him.
it's true. So then Tupper calls Toby an ungrateful little welt, and I never heard that insult before. Have you? So Tupper then rides into town to call the sheriff. It tells him to keep an eye open for a boy that ran away from the circus and stole a very valuable animal. Sleazeball. Toby,
Such a terrible person.
yes. Toby then realizes that Stubbs has followed him and that the people from the circus are going to be after him, which is correct. And they're going to take away Mr. Stubbs. Oh, they run like they see Mr. Tupper coming, so they're like running through the forest trying to hide from him. But then Stubbs gets frightened
because of a dog.
Yep. Yep. So Stubbs gets frightened because of the dog, and Toby runs after him. But then Stubbs running alarms the nearby hunter. It's like a hunter's dog. So the dog chases the monkey.
Yep.
Causing Stubbs to climb a tree for safety. But the hunter, whose hunter's dog it is, follows the dog and shoots Mr. Stubbs, mistaking it for like prey. Because his dog was like bringing him to it. So causing the monkey to get shot.
At that point, I thought to myself, I hate this movie.
Yeah.
I loved Mr. Stubbs. He became my favorite character. And I thought Disney didn't kill my favorite character off.
So then Toby, also his favorite character, or Stubbs is his favorite character, he starts to cry over Mr. Stubbs, but then Mr. Tupper comes running over to see the grieving boy and blames the entire thing on Toby.
Such a jerk. And you know what?
Piece of garbage.
Luckily, the hunter witnessed this. Because the hunter was not a bad person.
But
even though he shot Mr. Stubbs.
Tupper forces Toby and the now shot Stubbs to go back with him to the circus.
He didn't take the now shot Stubbs. He left him.
No, he
said
didn't.
He's dead. He did. He left him because he said he was dead.
No.
Yes, he did.
But how did he get back to the circus?
The hunter.
I disagree.
The hunter brought him back because,
Mm-mm.
yes, because when he went back, Mr. Stubbs was gone. And then the hunter found him.
No. So
Yes.
no. So
Yes.
they bring them back to the circus. Um, but then as they get back to the circus, Toby instantly runs to the leader to tearfully explain the whole entire thing of what happened. But then he also sees that his aunt and uncle are there waiting for him,
Mhm.
and they give him a big hug. It's a big forgiving moment. And then Ben, the tough guy from earlier, confronts Tupper and threatens him, causing
Finally.
causing him to give up Toby's share of the money, and again throws him in the water because that's kind of his thing. And then we see that the aunt and uncle are excited to watch Toby's performance,
Mhm.
but Toby is all Toby can talk about is how much he misses Mr. Stubbs, because he's telling his family about the monkey.
Yeah.
But then Toby then sees a very bandaged, wrapped up Mr. Stubbs, once again getting nursed to health by Sam the clown,
Yeah.
and he excitingly gives him
And
up.
the hunter was standing there and explained to him what was going on.
Well, then I agree to disagree. So
I'm glad your parents watch this with us.
yeah, deep dive in the magic pod at gmail.com. So then we see Toby performing his routine. He does it excellently. Everybody's cheering. The aunt and uncle are cheering him on. Toby jumps his horse through a ring of fire, and then
He jumps through the ring of fire. The horse, I don't think, goes through the ring of fire.
I don't know. I wrote he jumps his horse through a ring of fire. I don't know. So then we see that Mr. Stubbs again undid his leash and jumps onto Toby's back while they're riding around.
The poor thing has been shot and
Yeah.
they're still leashing.
But he does get like this huge applause from the audience for it. We see that the aunt and uncle are telling the audience that Toby is their boy, so like they're very lovingly. Um, the leader says that he loves Stubbs, and he loves Stubbs' whole bit on the horse. He declares that Stubbs is now going to become the new lead of the show, and the Stubbs, Toby, and the girl performer, they all bow to a rousing applause, and then they run out the end. I thought it was very cute and enjoyable. I was actually pretty impressed with this.
Yes.
I would love to hear your
I
thoughts on this and the
honestly,
rating.
yeah, so I honestly going into it, seeing that it had that kid in it and not really liking
It's
it.
everything.
I don't hate the kid. I just wasn't really big fans of the other two movies he was in. Or
Couple.
yeah, the other movies he was in, I was not a big fan of. So
Gucci.
yeah, I was well, I don't know. I did enjoy the Shaggy Dog, so
Yeah.
that would be a lie. But I kind like hearing what it was about, I guess going into it, I was thinking I was gonna hate it and I wasn't gonna like it at all. And then I was super surprised about how much I actually liked it. Um, so IMDb rated it a 6.9.
Ooh, it's pretty high for them. What did you rate it?
I rated it an 8. I
Yeah.
really actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's worth a watch.
Mhm.
Um, I recommend finding it. It's not on Disney Plus, but it is an absolute good
Understand
ride.
why. I feel like they should.
Maybe it'll be on the next,
Yeah,
they change things out in and out a lot. So
I
by the
feel
time
like
you're watching this, it could be on.
yeah, I feel like they should definitely do that. And then I think I saw on IMDb when we were um looking things up for it that there were a lot of people that had that complaint. Like somebody said my nephew or something watched it and they loved it so much and they're like, I don't understand why this is not streaming. Like this,
Yeah.
it is a good movie.
It
I
is
really
it is a
enjoyed
good
it.
movie. So then perfect segue. Let's talk about our list upon a star over here. Does Toby Tyler or 10 Weeks in the Circus make it to your list upon a star? The
So,
first list upon a star of the 1960s.
yes. So it is gonna make my list upon a star because I really enjoyed it. I really
Okay.
did.
Where
So
are we gonna fall?
unfortunately, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad are going to have to come off, and it really hurts me to do that. But I mean, I really did enjoy it. Saludos Amigo is also going to slide down, and it can't beat Fantasia. But I mean, serious, like who can beat Fantasia? So,
All these films that you have beating Fantasia. But okay, read, please, your current list upon a star.
all right. So I have Sleeping Beauty, Dumbo, Lady and the Tramp, The Three Caballeros, The Shaggy Dog, Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland, Fantasia, Toby Tyler, or 10 Weeks in the Circus, and Saludos Amigos.
Now, I'd like to point out that you just moved Mr. Toad off of your list forever. And if you look at this mug right here, where he's shifty-eyed, he's never going to look at you again. Look at this. Look at this mug.
I'm okay with that.
He's mad at you.
The only reason I rated that on my list was because I actually enjoyed the story of Ichabod.
You're wrong. So, Toby Tyler does not make my list upon a star, even though I thoroughly enjoyed this film. There's just some heavy hitters in front of it. It was very cute film, but my list upon a star to start the 1960s is Peter Pan at number 1, Alice in Wonderland at number 2, Pinocchio 3, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad still being on my list at 4, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs at 5, Sleeping Beauty behind that, Lady and the Tramp, The Three Caballeros, Cinderella, and number 10 being The Shaggy Dog.
Yeah.
But we watched our first film of the 60s.
And we've definitely had some good ones. We've had a good run with the 50s, and
We're on to the 60s.
I was super pleased with the first movie
Yeah.
of the 60s.
Yeah, it was definitely enjoyable. So, thank you all for watching and hanging out with us. If you haven't already watched our bonus episode where we did find a reference to every Disney film, every Disney feature film
Yeah.
from the 1930s, 40s, and 50s at Walt Disney World. I hope you enjoyed it. If you watched it, if
Yeah.
not, please give it a watch and let us know. If you are new here because of that video or just for any reason,
Yep.
please subscribe to us. We are on Spotify. We are on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on email. Again, the email is deepdivingthemagicpod@gmail.com. But next, we continue on our journey into the 1960s with a film that came out in February of 1960, and that is a film called Kidnapped.
Yeah.
Don't give anything away yet. So that is a film called Kidnapped. So would you
Yep.
like to take us out?
Yeah. Thanks for deep diving the magic.
Bye.
Bye.